Hi guys, Al Smith here. Today we're going to talk about the unusual no-trump convention. The unusual no-trump convention complements the Michaels-Cubit convention. Between the two conventions, it gives you capability of describing two suited hands that contain 5+ cards in two of the suits of any combination of suits. Okay, specifically, the unusual no-trump allows you to show 5+ cards in two lowest unbid suits. Remember that the Michaels-Cubit allows you to show the other variations. We're going to use the 2-3-4 system to determine if it's safe to use the unusual no-trump convention. Shape-based hands are not bid based upon points, but on overall trick-taking capability. And that's what 2-3-4 does for you. It allows you to determine what level it's safe for you to bid to or for you to force your partner to bid to based upon the shape of your hand and vulnerability. There are multiple versions of the unusual no-trump, okay, which differ based upon the number of points required. The best version is what we call the mini-max version, okay? And it allows you to very specifically show the difference between two suited hands with less than or equal to 10 points, 11 to 15 length points, or 16+. We use unusual no-trump for the min and the max, less than or equal to 10, or 16+. If we have 11 to 15, we do not use unusual no-trump, but we bid the higher ranking suit first, then the lower ranking suit. This way, we can clearly differentiate between two suited hands with less than or equal to 10 points, 11 to 15, and 16+. This is consistent and the same way that we're doing it in the Michaels-Cubit convention. Okay, quick review of the 2-3-4. It gives you the capability of determining the level that it's safe for you to bid to or you force your partner to bid to based upon the shape of your hand and vulnerability. Okay, and it is a critical component in bidding shape-based hands, or distributional hands, if you want to call it that. Okay, I'm not going to go through this. There's another video on this. Go review that if you're not familiar with 2-3-4. Okay, unusual no-trump is initiated by bidding to no-trump. Hey, pretty easy. Okay, and after the opponent opens. Okay, now what I want to point out also with respect to this discussion is what is the safe level that where you can, when it's safe to bid to no-trump. So how is it initiated? Well, if the opponent opens one club, diamond, heart, spade, or one no-trump, if you bid to no-trump, what you're doing is initiating unusual no-trump. And what it's doing is showing 5+ cards in the two lowest unbid suits. Okay, and in all situations, to bid unusual no-trump, your 2-3-4 result should be greater or equal to 3, because 2 no-trump says, hey partner, you have to bid at the 3 level. So we want we're forcing our partner to bid at the 3 level. We want that to be safe. All right, this applies to both the mini and the maxi aspects of unusual no-trump. Okay, now unusual no-trump can also be used after both opponents bid. For example, in this first example, the first opponent bids 1 club, your partner passes, and the responder raises 2 clubs. You can bid to no-trump, initiating unusual no-trump. This would show 5 diamonds, 5+ diamonds, and 5+ hearts, and a 2-3-4 result greater than equal to 3. In the second example, they bid 2 different suits, 1 club and then 1 spades. The 2 unbid suits are diamonds and hearts. You bid to no-trump, you're showing 5, 5 in those 2 unbid suits. And it can also be used after the opponent bids one no trump. So we got one club, pass, one no trump, two no trump. Still is unusual no trump and is still showing 5+ diamonds and 5+ hearts. You can see how this works. Okay, and it applies in both the minimum and the maximum unusual no trump heat. Now, it also can be initiated in the direct or the balance seat. For example, in this one, we have the direct seat and initiating two no trump. One heart, two no trump shows 5+ clubs and 5+ diamonds. One heart pass, then two no trump by the balancing seat shows the same. Okay, so we can see how this works. All right, now, if the initiator of the two no trump is a previously passed hand, it cannot be a maxi hand because it already denied having the capability to open. So they can't have 16+ points. Just want to point that out. Sometimes the intuitively obvious items we kind of miss. Okay, so here's an example here. Okay, we've got pass, in the fourth seat opens one heart, and you in the first seat bid two no trump. That's perfectly legal, perfectly allowed. It's showing you got 5+ clubs, 5+ diamonds, and the 2, 3, 4 result is greater than or equal to 3. Here's one that's even a little bit more complicated. So we've got pass, one heart, pass, and then you in the third seat jump in and bid two no trump. In this one case, again, you'd be showing 5+ clubs and 5+ diamonds, and a 2, 3, 4 result of greater than or equal to 3. All right, let's look at a couple of examples here. Should you bid 3 no trump? Should you use an unusual no trump on this hand? In the first one, we're going to look at the vulnerability. Let's look at the first example here. In this one, we're vulnerable, and the opponents are vulnerable, and they open one club. This is our hand. Let's do a quick assessment of it. All right, we have 4 high card points, the king and the jack, and we have 2 length points. We've got 6 length points. Not a real strong hand, not a very pretty hand. However, don't let that impede you. Let's take a look at the 2, 3, 4 to see if we're strong enough. Okay, we've got 2, 3, 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losers. So we take 7 minus 8 plus 3. 3 is the B factor for equal vulnerability, and up to 2. Well, it's close, but no cigar. We're not strong enough. We need the 2, 3, 4 to be equal to 3+ in order to use unusual no trump. It's only equal to 2. So what we're going to do is pass. Close, but not good enough. Let's look at example number 2. Okay, in this one, we've got exactly the same hand, but the vulnerability is different. In this one, we're not vulnerable, and the opponents are vulnerable. Okay, and the points remain the same. And now the B factor, instead of being 3, is equal to 4. We calculate that out, and lo and behold, it's equal to 3. So with this vulnerability, favorable vulnerability, we're going to use 2, 3, 4 and initiate unusual no trump, even though this is a rather ugly looking hand. Because we've got a great shape, if our partner has a fit, we're going to do quite well. We might not make the contract, but we're not going to go down very many. So, one of the goals here is knowing when to go and when not to go. We use 2, 3, 4 to do that, to complement the shape that's being shown by unusual no trump. Okay, let's look at this one here. Now, this is really kind of an unusual example. This one's not vulnerable versus not vulnerable. So the B factor is going to be equal to 3. However, the opponent opens with a strong 2 clubs. Whoa. So the opponent opened with a strong 2 clubs. Now, what's the probability that the strong 2 clubs shows an unbalanced hand? Pretty high, especially since you got an unbalanced hand. Okay, now, let's take a look at this. Can you use unusual no trump here? Yeah, you could. Now, let's determine if we want to use 2 no trump here to show unusual no trump, or whether we want to bid the suits. Well, we're going to look at the points. We've got 4, 6, 10. We've got 4 length points. That gives us 14 length points. Remember now that the gap is 10 to 14. Okay, let's calculate the 2, 3, 4 just because we want it to be a habit. We want to do this every time. So even though you've got a lot of points in a really nice shape, calculate 2, 3, 4. Good habits will give you good results. So we calculate and say, wow, we're all the way up to 6. So it's definitely safe to use 2, 3, 4. It's definitely safe to use unusual no trump using 2, 3, 4. But do we want to? No, we don't, because we want to use the gap to be able to communicate to our partner what we've got in terms of the number of points. We're in the range of 11 to 14. So what we're going to do here is bid 3 diamonds and then 4 clubs. And if the opponents continue to compete, we're going to bid 5 clubs. So, that way our partner will have a very good idea that we have 11 to 14 points versus the minimum or the maximum. Let's look at example number 4. In this one, we've got vulnerable versus vulnerable. So the B factor is going to be equal to 3. Okay, the opponents open 1 heart. Hey, we've got 5 clubs and 5 diamonds. Hey, we qualify to use unusual no trump. Let's see if we want to. Okay, we've got 17 high card points plus 2 length points. That gives us 19 length points. That's definitely greater than 16. So let's take a look at the 2, 3, 4. It comes out to 7. We're definitely strong enough. Now, what do we want to do? Because we have the strong hand, we want to be able to show that to our partner. So what we're going to do is bid 2 no trump, initiating unusual no trump. After our partner, the advancer, bids, we're going to bid again. By bidding again, we're showing we've got 16 plus 16 plus points. Okay, so that way our partner can figure out whether they should continue participating in the auction or not. So, and if you don't bid again, it says you've got a minimum. Let's look at this one here. We've got vulnerable versus not vulnerable. This is unfavorable vulnerability. So the V factor is going to be equal to 2. Let's take a look at the hand. Well, we've got 3 high card points for this nice king, but we've got 4 length points. Hey, our length points are actually more than our high card points. It gives us 7. Doesn't tell us much. Points don't really tell us a whole bunch in relationship to unbalanced suit or shape-based hands. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to calculate 2, 3, 4. In this case, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losers. We've got vulnerable versus not vulnerable. B factor equals 2. So we got 7 minus 6 plus 2 is equal to 3. Lo and behold, even though this hand is really ugly in terms of points, it's got a great shape. So because the 2, 3, 4 is 3 or more, what we're going to do is we're going to use unusual no trump and we're going to bid 2 no trump. Our partner is going to know that we've got hearts and diamonds and is going to bid one of those 2 suits for us. And then we're going to pass. So we've got a great opportunity with almost no points, but a great shape of stealing the bid and keeping the opponents out of the probable game. And if we may even consider bidding, sacrificing at the 4 or 5 level, given the shape of this hand. Okay, let's take a look at this one here. Okay, again, the opponents open 1 diamond. Hey, we've got the right shape, 5 hearts and 5 clubs. Let's take a look at this. We've got 10 high card points, 2 length points, that gives us 12. All right, so let's make sure that we're strong enough to be bidding here. So evaluate 2, 3, 4, we get an answer of 3. Definitely strong enough. We could use unusual no trump here. However, we're not going to because our points fall within the gap. Okay, so we want to be sure that we're using the structure of the convention so we can show a minimum hand of 0 to 10, 11 to 14 by bidding the gap, or 16 plus by using unusual no trump. So in this one, what we're going to do is bid 2 hearts, and our plan is then to bid 3 clubs. All right, let's look at number 7. Well, we've got close. We didn't get all of the things corrected, but in this particular one, the opponents had bid 2 suits. We passed originally. They bid a club, passed, and then a spade. Okay, it's coming back around to us. Because we passed before, does this mean that we can't bid? No, sirree. We can bid. So let's take a look at this. Look at this. We've got 6 hearts and 5 diamonds. Okay. Remember, we can use this to show 2 suited hands with 5 plus cards in 2 suits. So 6-5 qualifies. Okay. So we've got 4 plus 3 is equal to 7 length points. Our 2, 3, 4 value comes out to be equal to 3. So yes, we can go ahead and we can bid an unusual no trump with this hand. It's pretty weak. Both of the opponents have bid, but we can get in the auction because we have 2 great suits that we might end up sacrificing. Okay, unusual no trump a lot of times, and also Michaels, can be used to find that you've got a fit where you can sacrifice so you can get a better score than by letting the opponents take the bid. Let's look at example 8. Example 8. We've got unfavorable vulnerability. We're vulnerable, they're not. Unfavorable vulnerability. And they bid 2 suits, pass 1 club, 1 spade. Now we've got the same hand that we had before, okay, except now it's unfavorable vulnerability. Let's take a look and see what happens. Okay, because the V factor was only 2 versus 3, now it's only equal to 2. So now we cannot bid unusual no trump. We're too weak. It exposes us to too great a risk if we bid unusual no trump. So in this case, we're going to pass. Let's take a look at this last example over here. In this one, we have equal vulnerability, and the opponents have our partner passed. The opponent, our right-hand opponent bid a club. We passed for whatever reason. We didn't have the right shape. We didn't want to bid. We couldn't bid a Michaels at that particular point because we don't have the right suits, and we can't use unusual no trump because we don't have the right suits. So we pass. The responder bids a heart, becomes pass, and then the opener supports the hearts. Now it comes back around to us. Can we use unusual no trump? Yes, we can. Now, because they bid both of those suits, it gives us the capability of properly describing our hands by saying, hey, we've got 5 plus spades and 5 plus diamonds. Now, let's see if we're strong enough. Okay, we've got a whole 3 high card points, 4 length points. That gets a total of 7. Okay, now 2, 3, 4. It evaluates out, and the 2, 3, 4 result is 4. So we are definitely strong enough to jump in the auction. Okay, so at this particular point, we're going to bid 2 no trump, and 2 no trump, even this late in the auction, initiates unusual no trump and says, hey, partner, I've got 5 plus spades, 5 plus diamonds. Let's get in the auction and compete. All right, what are we going to do after? What is the advancer going to do after the overcaller bids an unusual 2 no trump? Okay, if the advancer has a strong, is a strong unpassed advancer. By that I mean the advancer has not previously bid. Could have an unlimited hand, could have 20 points. Got a strong hand, and you've got to fit one of the 2 suits that the unusual no trumper has shown. You can initiate exploring game by Q bidding the opponent's suit. Okay, that's the only forcing bid available to you. Q bid the opener's suit. Or if they bid 2 suit, Q bid the lowest opponent bid suit. That way, your partner is forced to bid and to give you information so you can determine where you want to go. If it's a non-game forcing hand, which is going to be 90% of the time, 95% of the time, the strong unpassed advancer doesn't happen very often. Okay, especially when the opponents have open. Okay, so it would in essence say that the opener's got 13 points and the responder's probably got 0. All right, so if it's a non-game forcing hand, what you're going to do is you're going to bid 3 or more in one of the 2 indicated suits. Okay, and if you've got 3, you're going to bid 3 of the longer suit. If you have 4 in one suit and 2 in the other, it's obvious. 9 is better than 7. With an equal number, let's say that it's 1 no trump, 2 no trump shown. You've got 5 plus clubs and 5 plus diamonds, and you've got 3 clubs and 3 diamonds. Bid 3 clubs. Bid the lower ranking suit first. This allows you to escape to the higher ranking suit if you're double off to change that lower to higher. Lower, higher. Really hard to get everything perfect in these things. Okay, with less than or equal to and a 6+ card suit and no fit, okay, bid your long suit if you can guarantee, looking at just your hand, that you have more or equal to or equal cards than 5. Okay, then the number between your hand and what's been indicated by your partner and they're in your hand. For example, if you have a 6-card suit, your partner has indicated that they have their 5-5, and you're 1-1 in those suits. That would say that between you and your partner, you can guarantee that you have 6. You can look at your hand, you've got 6. It's equal or greater, you can bid your suit. Remember that a 6-0 split in a trump suit is better than a 5-1. With less than 2 and no long suit or fit, you can bid 3 of the longer indicated suit. I mean, you may be showing only 2 card support if you've got 1, and it can get a little hairy here, but you're pretty easy. Pick the one where you've got the longest number of cards. And again, if you've got the equal number, pick the lower ranking suit. Okay. Note that if your partner, the overcaller, the person who bid the unusual trump, has a maxing hand, they're going to bid again. You don't have to worry about it. They're going to take over the captaincy of the auction and bid again. All right, let's take a look at a couple of examples of what should the advancer bid. In this case, the opponent opened 1 club and our partner bid 2 no trump. So what do we got here? All right, we've got 3 diamonds and 3 hearts. Our partner has indicated they have 5+ diamonds and 5+ hearts. What we're going to do is we're going to bid the lower ranking suit. Now, there might be some that would argue that you should bid the higher ranking suit first, the major, because it's worth more points. However, the odds are, because you've got minimal points and the opponent is open, that he's bidding a mini. This would give you a capability of bidding. If you bid 3 diamonds, if you get doubled and you need a place to run, then you can bid 3 hearts. So that's the whole idea here. Okay, shape-based hands, typically the opponents are going to have the majority of the points. Let's look at example number 2. In this one, the opponent opens a club. Our partner bids 2 diamonds, saying you've got a 5+ diamonds or 5+ heart, and you go, oh crap, I've got a whole bunch of spades. You've got 2, 4, 6 spades, 7 spades. All right, now the real issue here is can you guarantee that you've got more spades than you and your partner have in terms of diamonds? We're picking diamonds because you've got 2 in that versus 1. So you've got 7. Your partner's guaranteed. How many spades did your partner guaranteed you? 0. So we're only going to count the ones that you can see. You've got 5. If the partner promised you 5 diamonds, you've got 2. That's 7. 7 spades is greater than the 7 hearts. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bid 3 spades, and your partner is going to know that that's a sign-off. The only forcing bid after the 2 no trump bid is Q bidding the opponent's bid suit. Let's take a look at this example. Our partner opened 1 club, and our partner says 2 no trump, showing diamonds and hearts. We go, whoa, look at that. We've got a great bid in diamonds. I've got great spades. I've got a whole bunch of clubs, so the probability is my partner's going to be shortened in clubs. Hey, we may actually have slam on the scene. So what we're going to do is we're going to explore a game and slam by, first of all, Q bidding 3 clubs, forcing our partner to bid. And then our partner is going to show us a feature in their hand, and we'll go from there. All right. Well, let's come down to the end. Oops. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. This is the where you can contact us. And if you have any questions or things, give me a call or send me an email. Want to thank you for taking the lesson. Hope you learned a lot. Have a great day.